starting right now.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the August 11th meeting of the Downtown Brantford Business Improvement Area Board of Management. I'll just go over a few procedural rules. All microphones should be muted unless you are speaking. All web cameras are to remain on. If you wish to speak, please press your raise hand button on your screen or raise your hand. If there's a service interruption that affects quorum, we will take a 15-minute recess to establish quorum. If quorum cannot be established, the meeting will not continue. Thank you. Annette, could you take the roll call, please?
Yes. Barbara Sutherland,
Present.
Dwight Rose,
Present.
Carrie Korfman,
Present.
Karen Towler,
Present.
Kathy Oden,
Present.
Lizanna Coster, Lizanna.
You know what? I wonder if we've lost her.
Yes, present.
Oh,
There
there
she
she
is.
is. Okay.
Councillor Wall, Councillor Utley.
Here.
I believe that's all the board members.
Thank you. All right. Good. All right, we'll move on to item number 2, approval of the agenda. May I have a motion to approve? Dwight, and seconded by Kathy. Thank you. Declarations of conflict of interest, anyone? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, we have no delegations and consent items. We're on to number 5. May I have the minutes of the meeting June 9th? Motion to approve the minutes. Dwight, and second by Carrie. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. And 5.2 reports committee, we need to receive the staff report for June, July, August, and thank you for putting that together, Annette. Motion to receive. Carrie, seconded by Kathy, all in favor? Carried, thank you. All right. Good morning, May. Good morning, Beth. Good morning, Anne Marie.
Morning.
All right, and Jennifer. Thank you. All right, items on to 6.1, items for consideration. Resignation from the exec. Sorry, I'm getting some background noise from someone. Okay. 6.1, resignation from the executive committee, that the executive committee accept with regret the resignation of John O'Neill from the executive committee. I need a motion on that to accept John's resignation. Kathy, and seconded by Dwight. All in favor? Carried, thank you. And nominations, volunteers for the vice chair position, because John was vice chair. So we are looking for a vice chair from our committee. Any volunteers? It's overwhelming. If you want to know what the vice chair has to do, generally is just to turn up for the executive meeting on the first Wednesday of the month, and that's basically all the vice chair has had to do right now. And attend a meeting and chair a meeting in my absence. And so far I haven't been absent, I don't think. So again, second, yes, Annette?
I was just going to say Carrie had offered, if there was no interest in the vice chair position, because it can be overwhelming for a first timer, that she would step into the vice chair and leave the secretary position open if somebody wanted that.
Okay, Councillor Utley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll nominate Carrie Kaufman.
Okay, Councillor Wall? Was that, did you second it? Yes, thank you. Okay. Carrie, do you accept that position?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so all in favor? Thank you, Carrie. All right,
Barbara?
yes,
May I suggest, if no one wants the secretary position, we just put it out when we hopefully get two new board members. We'll put it out to the board again and see if we can get someone.
I don't see why that isn't possible. That's fine. Okay. All right, so we voted on that and we welcome Carrie as our vice chair. Thank you very much. 6.2, Downtown Brantford Improvement Task Force update. Councillor Wall.
Good morning, everybody. So thank you. The first meeting of the task force will be tomorrow. So I don't really have a formal update until then, but I believe that everyone is excited to get this off the ground and up and running. Marlene, I believe, is here from City Hall to provide more information.
Okay. Marlene, can you hear us?
I can. I apologize. I'm having technical difficulties.
no,
So
that's-
I'm on my phone trying to log on. But good morning, everyone. I can provide a quick update for everyone. As Councillor Wall has already said, the first task force meeting is scheduled for tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And I believe everybody has had their invitation sent out in the agenda. We will be discussing the draft term of reference for approval, and the communications team has put a plan together as well for consideration tomorrow at the task force. So we're excited to get the group meeting and moving forward. And I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody from the committee has any this morning.
Thank you, Marlene. Are there any questions? Councillor Utley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Miranda and Councillor Wallet. Let's try and arrange those meetings, say a week ahead of the BIA meeting, so we can provide an update, a fresh update within a week or a few days of BIA meeting. I think that would, I'm not sure what would work best, to be honest, but I think that's something we can discuss tomorrow at our first meeting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Karen?
I was wondering, and I apologize for asking this, if there's any representatives on this task force from post-secondary education.
Marlene, can you answer that?
Not a chance.
So through the chair, yes, there are representatives on the committee for post-secondary education. And there will be staff working groups as well. So further participation will be requested as we move through the process. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further? Okay.
Yeah, I'll provide some commentary, Barbara, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead, Councillor Wall.
Yeah, I think I would be remiss if I didn't thank this BIA for its push for the creation of the task force. So thank you to the board. We know that you take this very seriously and this is very important to you. And then in our first kind of discussion about what this is going to look like, one thing that we want to make loud and clear is that while we are going to be setting a mandate and we are going to be having a terms of preference and a set schedule, this definitely has to be something that ebbs and flows with the needs and wants of the community and the stakeholders of the downtown. So if anybody ever feels like they have any questions about this, or they don't know what's happening, or they want to know more about it, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Mayor Davis, Councillor Utley, or any other member of the task force or city staff. It's very important that we have agency and buy-in from our community partners, because our downtown didn't go into the state that it's in overnight, and it's not going to suddenly revert overnight as well. This is going to be a process that's going to take some time, and it's going to take all of us working together, communicating with one another. I'm confident that we can have a downtown that everybody is proud of and everybody feels safe and welcomed in. And that is the whole reason we've formed this task force, to identify the concerns and find solutions, find best practices in other communities, figure out what other people have done and do it better. So thank you. I can't wait for the first meeting.
Mhm. And Annette, go ahead.
I was just curious if the meetings are going to be broadcast on YouTube, the same as a council meeting or a committee of the whole.
Marlene, can you answer that or?
Thank you, everyone. So through the chair,
Okay.
yes, they will be televised. They are going to be clerked by our clerks team, and they will be televised for everyone to view. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Annette, do we need a motion on 6.2?
No, it was just an information item.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. We'll go on to 6.3, Brantford Heritage Committee. We're looking for a representative from the BIA. Meetings take place on Monday, 6 p.m. and looking for a volunteer for the Heritage Committee. Going once. Oh, again, it's overwhelming. All right. Well, if we can't decide that today, as someone, I know this is new, go ahead, Dwight.
Well, I think maybe here again, maybe it's, we should wait till our new members get on and then make that appointment. So somebody might be keenly interested in assuming that position.
Right, that's what I was thinking. And also to perhaps give board members a chance just to look into it a little further, see what the Heritage Committee is all about. And if we could defer, well, if someone could make a motion to defer this to our next meeting, perhaps. Carrie, and seconded by Dwight. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, all in favor? And carried. Thank you. All right. All right, 6.4. Recommendation from the executive committee about the banners. Annette, would you like to speak to the banners?
So we've had banners on the Lorne Bridge, I think for about a year now. We've lost 2. They've been up 24/7, so the weather's taking its toll. And the message has been stronger together. So there's been some discussion about changing that messaging to more of a gratitude message, a thank you for supporting local. So I've done some research and it's going to cost us about $1,600 all in. That's for design, installation, the manufacturing of the banners. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we need a motion to put this on the table. Karen, thank you. Second, Kathy, thank you. Any discussion, any questions about the banners? All right, Karen, go ahead.
Annette, do we know how long, you alluded to the fact the old ones have been up 24/7. Do you know the turnaround time and how long these banners will be up?
I guess that would depend on how long they last and if we decide that we want to put a new message up there. This is a fairly new project. We've never had banners on the Lorne Bridge before, but with the amount of traffic coming in from the southwest, we thought it would be a good idea. So it all depends on messaging. If 6 months from now we want to do something else, we can.
Dwight, go ahead.
I say the banners will probably come down temporarily for Remembrance Day for the veterans. That's always been the case there going forward. So I don't know, at that point in time, we might see whether we change it up afterwards or whether we continue to put that banner back up after the Remembrance Day celebrations for the veterans.
Last year, the city took the banners down to put up the Remembrance Day banners, and they were kind enough to replace our banners again after that time. And you know, given the the banners are good quality that we have right now. I mean, there's quite a bit of wind on that bridge, but I expect that they'll last well into 2022. And then we can reconsider another message. But as we said, we've had Stronger Together up there a long time, and people have been driving by that for a long time. We think it's time for new new message and one of gratitude to say thank you, for all of this, for supporting us through all of this. All right, any other discussion? All right, so we'll take a vote to approve the expenditure for the banners. All in favor? Thank you, that's carried. All right. We're on to 6.5 and we have Lizanna Coster's parking recommendation. Lizanna, would you like to speak to this?
Hi, yes, I would. My daughter and I, we own 2 stores downtown on Colburn Street. We have 4 apartments. We very much rely on traffic coming down here to support our stores. We're pretty well new and we're opening another store, a thrift shop called This, That, and the Other Thing. And the other is called Old World Marketplace. And it's an antique and collectibles. So we very much rely on customers with cars. 6 months ago, I moved into one of our apartments above the store. So I'm able to view front view from Colburn Street that has the traffic, the everything. So I not only get 24/7 between the store and my apartment, I get to see the heavy traffic and the very, very fast traffic. And so it's scary with the amount of noise. And I don't know how they get past the noise bylaw, but that's definitely a concern. And it's not very pretty. So parking has been a real issue. And as I've been having a petition signed, about 125 people or more, merchants, people, customers, really have an issue with the parking. And so I'm looking at when they want to put in a bike lane and take away 84 more spots for parking would really, really hurt all of our businesses on Colburn and Dalhousie. And many people have already gone out of business for many reasons, of course. I really think that the bike lanes would not help business. We need cars to pick up items and do shopping. And in this vast world with people, their bike riding is a pleasure, and we have beautiful, beautiful trails in Brantford. And what happens, I watch Colburn Street for bikes. There are some, but it's not something that would carry our businesses. So I really would recommend two-way traffic. I think that would slow down traffic. The other thing is a light at Bain Street and a crosswalk first. We have students, children, seniors going to the library, to the to the Harmony Square. So it's very, very difficult to cross over. So that's another thing I would recommend. Okay, in 1954, when the one-way was put in to Colburn and Dalhousie, it was appeared to connect the 53 highway to get people quicker through town. I think now we don't need people quicker through town. We need them to kind of stay in town to shop. 403 in 1993 was completed, and that is a fast way to get to Toronto, wherever you're going. And if anybody wants to quickly get through town, which we merchants don't want, we want them to be here, they can take the 403. So it's not limited to Colburn Street to be the throughway. I really believe that it's important to slow down traffic. We need to stay in business to keep Brantford going. So I recommend that we have two-way. Bike lanes could be on another street. I'm not sure if Darling Street would be an option, but you still could have a bike lane, but not where the stores are. So that's pretty well. I have more, but probably I would, I have put this into different places, council, and I hope that it's not chosen. Apparently in 1953, it was opposed then by merchants, and it was just put through without their consent. So they're opposed to it now. So I really hope that that council listens to us. And if we need more signatures, I'm quite willing to go to every merchant in town. And thank you very much for letting me speak.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lizanna. There's a motion on the table. Just someone second the motion as written in our agenda first before we get carried on. Carrie, thank you. All in favor, or I'm sorry, no discussion. Is there any discussion? Dwight, go ahead. And this is, can I just remind everyone that this is a motion for parking. I know there are other issues in town, but this is the motion about parking. Go ahead, Dwight.
Yes, I think that there should be a strategy for this parking with everything that's gone on with the downtown. And I think now, especially in light of the information came that they're going to sublease out the parking at the old city hall to either Laurier or an alternative with stuff. I think our downtown streets now should be at a 1 hour minimum for everybody. And I don't want to lose any more parking spaces than what we have. And through this pandemic, the only thing that has kept a lot of our businesses going was the fact that they could get, skip the dishes or DoorDash for pickup. So it's mandatory that there's sufficient loading, it's called loading zone, pickup zones, I guess I'll call it that, with things. But I think when things get back to normal, the streets were never meant for long-term parking anyhow at the present time. And to help everybody, 1 hour is quite sufficient for anybody, even lunches or picking up or things to be done here until we come up with a positive long-term replacement, which will probably be a paid system at some point in time. But at this time, even before we get the streetscape all into the fray here, we need to make sure that we keep our businesses that have survived going and prosperous. And I think that's the only way is maintain the parking spaces we have on the street now, but make it 1 hour and then short-term pickup zones for those businesses that need that skip the dishes, and mainly the restaurants and things going on. So that's all I've got to say.
Okay, thank you, Dwight. Councillor Utley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could I suggest that this motion, assuming it's going to be approved, I'm sure it will, be sent to council along with Lizanne's petition for the opposing the bike lanes. That will be around, and then with that letter, copy Councillor Wall and myself and the mayor, and then we can take that up with staff to make sure that they do not introduce bike lanes in the busiest areas, and taking away 84 parking spaces. That it's counterproductive in my opinion. So I think Councillor Wall and I and the mayor will be pleased to get another solution, another option for bike lanes with the input of BIA. One of the things we may want to do as a committee is to come up with maybe some other options, some other alternatives. Darling Street has been mentioned, or that we invite someone from staff to attend one of our meetings and kick around some ideas for the most appropriate and best places for bike lanes in the downtown area. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else to speak first? No? All right,
Gagan's
Lizanna, go
got
ahead.
her hand up, Barbara.
I'm sorry?
Gagan
Oh,
has her hand.
Gagan, I'm sorry, Gagan, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay. I just wasn't sure if I'm allowed to speak at this point or not. So I wanted to just make sure before I jumped in.
We'll invite you to speak, Gagan. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Barbara. So I just wanted to address some of the points that Lizanna had made. So firstly, thank you so much for doing the petition and participating actively. I know you've sent me stuff as well, and I've tried to, send back our responses to all of your separate points. So I'll try to summarize just a little bit for everybody else on this and anybody who might be watching. So the introduction of bike lanes is by no means taking precedent over the parking. The bike lanes are actually only taking up about 1.5 meters of the roadway, whereas the parking would be approximately 2.5 to 3. So what we're saying is that if you actually get rid of the parking on one side of the street, you'd actually be gaining roughly 1.5 meters of pedestrian space, which is a goal of this EA and the whole project overall for the downtown revitalization, is that we're trying to make downtown a destination, and businesses will be able to introduce things like patios and pop-ups outside, and making it more of a place people want to go. So I just wanted to clear that up. Like the bike lanes are being proposed because they're part of our transportation master plan, where Colborne and Dalhousie streets were outlined as bike routes. So we're kind of following that vision, and the project team has done several studies on the benefits of bike lanes, such as adding a lot of tourism dollars, and connecting the trails will cause cyclists to come to Colborne and Dalhousie Street, and they're actually the ones who are most frequently going to be the ones who shop and go to the restaurants and things like that there. So I just wanted to clear that point up, and I know this motion is just about the parking, so for sure we can talk about all the other stuff offline, Lizanna. I'd be happy to have a meeting with you separately, but if anybody has questions about the parking overall, I'd be happy to take them. The proposal is to remove the 84 parking spaces, but at the point we are in the study right now, we're heading into our next phase where we're going to be looking at the overall corridors of downtown. So we're going to be looking at if there's a way to retain some of that parking on the side streets, or adding more parking spaces in different areas. So while right now the proposal is that those 84 spaces, that's not final at this point, and we'll have more information about what the parking will look like and where all of the loading zones will be, because we're not, of course, we're not going to be getting rid of the loading zones. So those will still be there as well. And, later on, somebody mentioned a parking strategy. We will be able to, look at it comprehensively to see how do we capitalize the most on our existing surface lots and the parking spaces that are, on the street, and have some of a coordinated strategy for that. So I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Gagan. Kathy Oden?
Yes, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Gagan. Just wondering, what kind of a timeline is the city under with finishing this study because of the infrastructure work that needs to be done on Colborne Dalhousie?
Yeah, so we're actually just headed into the third final PIC, probably in early fall. And after that, we'll be compiling all of our reports and filing the EA and presenting our alternatives to council. So we're hoping either by end of this year or very early next year, we'll be finishing the study. After which, if the design if the options are approved by council, we'll be heading into design, which will likely take all of next year.
And it will connect, I'm sorry, another question.
Yeah.
Through our chair. I am assuming this is going to be scheduled with the infrastructure project of the water and sewer.
Oh yeah, everything is being
Okay.
looked at together. So we already know that we have to make those underground infrastructure improvements. That's what the project team is working on right now. Just getting more information about what all needs replacing and to be upsized. And we're just saying through this study that since we're going to be, ripping up the roads anyhow to do that replacement, we might as well replace the top as well, because the cost is likely to be very similar. So it's a good opportunity to make some changes.
Of course, but do we know when the city is anxious to get at sewer and water restructuring?
Yeah, so if everything goes as planned with the EA, we can start construction as early as probably 2023.
Okay, so we have some time. Thank you.
Annette, you had a question?
Yes. I agree with the 1 hour parking. And I believe across the road on the north side of Colburn Street, where the old, the Laurier building is a half an hour. If it all could be 1 hour, it would really help, because people can go in anywhere to the library, stores in an hour and at least see what they want, and they can come back another time. So I agree with that. I'd comment on the coming to the store, which is a good thing for someone from the city that brought this mind-busting preferred alternative. And I don't know if Gagan can answer this, but on it, it has the bike lanes and one-way streets. It mentions that, but it doesn't mention about losing 84 parking spots. So when the merchants see this, it's not a true story. They don't know that in order to have a bike lane, they're going to lose those spots. So they may answer it incorrectly, because I believe on there it should say that you will, if you have this bike lane, you will lose 84 spots. So is that something that should be clarified? And I really applaud that they did come to the store. I think that's a great thing. That's how we get to see it. So, but could you correct that so that people know when they're making a decision whether they want this or not, that if they choose the bike lane on, say, Colburn and Dalhousie, they're going to lose 84 spots?
Yes, so the purpose of this was just to go based on the information we were receiving about bike lanes and one-way traffic. So we didn't put it on the actual card itself, but we did have the photo of the cross section, and we put it in the myth busting bubbles. But next time we will, when we do our next engagement, make it clear that, you know, it does come with 84 parking spots being lost. I don't think I came to your business, Susanna, but when I did go around and do some of the businesses myself, I did speak with them and clarify, you know, one-on-one what it means.
Could it be put on the paper so that people can see it?
Yep.
And make an, you know, a real true decision of what they want?
Yes. Yep.
Thank
And we'll
you.
also point them towards the PIC material, which has all that information as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I have two more speakers. I had Annette, did you have your hand up?
Yes, I was just curious about the survey, the cards that were sent out. Did they just go to Colburn and Dalhousie businesses, or was the whole of the downtown done?
So right now we were only able to do a couple of streets. It actually took a while because I wanted to make sure we were, you know, speaking with businesses and listening to all of them. So it took a little longer than expected. But we've done Colburn and Dalhousie, and just in the immediate downtown area from Clarence to Brant. I believe the side streets were done as well that are impacted by this study, but I'll have to double check with the other staff member who was handing those out with me. And we will be going to those other businesses as well that go all the way up to the end of the study area.
Does it make sense if I did a mass email out to the membership with this, or I sent the information piece out, but I didn't have the card? But if you think it's a good idea, if you send that to me, I'll do a mass email out.
Yeah, so I actually had our communications draft up a survey online through SurveyMonkey, and they just sent me the link, so I can send that to you, Annette. We just want to make sure that it's only the businesses themselves that are replying, because the whole purpose of this survey is just for the businesses. We want to get their perspective. So, you know, we had it as a question of, am I a member of the BIA, yes or no? Or am I a business owner, yes or no? And if they answer no, there's nowhere to continue. And if they answer yes, then they can take the survey. And we'll just have to, you know, be clear, just only take it once, because we don't want to skew the results.
Okay, thank you. Anne Marie, sorry, you had to wait so long.
Sorry about that. So I'm just curious, how long is the work for these for this project going to take? So how long is our businesses at downtown going to be affected by all this work?
Yeah, that's a good question, Anne Marie. And I'm sorry, the answer right now is we don't know, because we don't know what the situation is underground just yet. And that's what we're trying to determine. And once we head into the next public information center, we will hopefully have a little bit more of the details of what exactly needs to be replaced underground, and that'll give us an idea of the timeline. I can tell you that likely if detailed design takes place next year, the construction wouldn't happen until at the earliest, probably 2023. And since it's such a large corridor, it could take several years, but the way these major infrastructure projects are coordinated is to do a block by block approach. So we wouldn't be shutting down all of Colborne and Dalhousie, for example, at once. It might just be one block. And all of that comes when we, discuss with the BIA. We'll definitely be having conversations and keeping you all and all the businesses in the loop of timing.
So will the walkways still be open to access those buildings or those businesses?
It really depends on what the changes are that are being made. I think at this point, I don't really know. That's a question I can ask my engineers who are working on the project to get some more insight. But I think it depends on what exactly they're changing. If they're, repaving the sidewalks, replacing those cobblestone sidewalks, then we'll have to close the walkway for them to, pave those. But it all depends on what work is being proposed.
So if that's the case, would those businesses be compensated through the city for their closure time?
The goal is that businesses wouldn't have to close or that we can phase construction in the way that it disrupts businesses very little or minimizes that as much as possible. But I can take that back and definitely check.
Okay. And this has nothing to do with, I guess it does. I am totally opposed to the 84 parking spots being taken away. We have so much difficulty downtown now with parking. I think the last thing that we need are bike lanes. As a business owner downtown, and I'm downtown 5, sometimes 7 days a week, I very rarely see bikes in the downtown area. And when I do, they're not stopping anywhere. They're moving. They're heading to wherever their destination is. They're not stopping at our businesses or at our restaurants. So it just doesn't make sense to me to have a bike lane in our downtown core. I am totally, and I don't know if this is a place to say this, but I'm totally opposed to it. Absolutely opposed.
Okay. Thank you, Anne Marie. All right. Any other questions? All right. I think it's time. Annette, could you read the motion, please, just so we are all clear?
Lizana had her hand up, Barbara.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lizana. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Wall.
Thank you. I would like to know from Gagan the cost of putting bike lanes in.
Hi, Lizana. I'm actually not too sure. We don't have those details yet, but I can look into what the cost would be based on other similar projects and get back to you.
Okay. And if I could just remind everyone, this motion is about parking. I know that there are a number of concerns and issues in the downtown and about the whole revitalization plan, but there will be another place to talk about it. Okay. This is the motion for parking and it's Lizana's motion. Annette, could you please read the motion?
Yep. It says, whereas the draft downtown Brantford streetscaping EA is suggesting the loss of 84 parking spaces to accommodate bike lanes, whereas the businesses rely on parking for their success, whereas there are other streets that could accommodate bike lanes. Now, therefore, the DBBIA Board of Management does not support the removal of 84 on-street parking spots.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to call the vote. All in favor of the motion?
Madam Chair, could I just, could we write in there, be specific with the streets? Like it's going to be Colborne and Dalhousie. Can we specify that, please?
All right.
And just for clarification.
Right, so that's a
Thank
friendly amendment to the emotion, right?
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
I'll second your motion.
A second. the
Friendly
amendment.
amendment, I'll second that.
Thank you, Kathy. All right. All right, so I'll call the question. All in favor of the amended motion? All right, thank you. That was carried. Thank you. Did I do that right, Annette?
I was just going to ask if there was any opposed because I can't see the whole.
Oh, right,
At the
yes,
same time.
okay.
If there's any were opposed.
I didn't, any opposed. I think I saw all of our board hands up. All right. Okay, thank you. All right, 6.6, development updates. And are you still taking notes, or do you have a moment just to talk about our development updates?
Yeah, these are just information items, just in case you're not downtown all the time. These are some things that are going on. Our business at 187 Market Street, or 213 Market Street, has moved out, which was our pizza place. So it looks like that property could be getting close to doing something, demolition. 120 Market Street, Chatham Street, we're still waiting for some activity over there. It doesn't look like the city's laid its pad for the Crystal Cottage, so I'm not sure what's up there. I just noticed at Committee of Adjustment, there was a proposal for a new medical clinic at 63 Wharf Street, which was the former Harold and Getz property. So those are just things I've noticed that are happening around the downtown.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to our reports and updates. 7.1, Sergeant Grantham, you're up.
Thank you and good morning, everybody. I don't have a lot to give you guys right now. One thing that Annette has really helped me out on, and all the businesses are starting to put in, are the Trespass to Property Act letters. So I'm up to 18 for the core. I'm keeping track of who has things on file. And because our beat unit is a little light on numbers, the chief has been having platoons come out and conduct some walking patrols downtown as well to supplement. So the letters, obviously they're not going to, fix everything, but it's one more thing that helps us. Just for example, yesterday when I was out, I used these letters on 3 occasions where at 50 Dalhousie at the VG, there were 3 or 4 people sleeping right in front of the doors. So I don't have to go in and ask anybody and find out if this behavior is unwanted, because I already know it is from dealing with the owners. So with the letter in hand, I can just walk up, I can start identifying people and get them out of there. So some of the people that I deal with down there are not too nice to deal with. So that's why it's good to call us. One of the gentlemen that was there that I've known and dealt with for years, he actually helped me and helped get them moved along, and actually picked up the chairs from the front door and put them to the curb so they can be removed. So unfortunately, the chairs were probably stolen from someone's front or rear yard, but that's very difficult to track. Just that the ongoing issues that we're having, and it's not only for the downtown core, this is something that we're seeing throughout the city, and it's going to be a mirror image of other jurisdictions and other cities that we're dealing with, people going through with shopping carts and ripping people's garbage open, looking for recyclables and things like that. So we're doing everything that we can. That's all I can just keep telling you, and to keep calling in. I don't know, hopefully there's no issues with the calling in. Hopefully that's been sorted out. But if you guys have any issues with things that are going on, feel free to email me. I've just responded to a bunch of emails today for some more trespass letters that we've got on file. So that does give us, it gives us a great deal of help in dealing with what we're having downtown here. Besides that, John Balone is off this week on holidays. He very rarely takes holidays, but obviously he should have some time off. So we're a little bit late. And then I got pulled away yesterday for something to do with K9, but I was there in the morning. So we're doing everything we can. That's all I can keep assuring you. And call, email me, let me know what's going on down there. If there's any questions at all.
There is a question, and Annette has a question, and Councillor Utley has a question, and Carrie.
My question is, I see John Balone all the time. Actually, he popped into my office one day. We had a good chat. It was interesting that day because somebody unwanted was starting to come into the office that hadn't noticed he was here. So I was glad he was here. Curious why he's down here by himself, and yet I'll see squad cars with 2 people in them. It's kind of like you're throwing him into the lion's den all by himself. Curious why there's not 2.
I can't answer. It's just a resource issue. When you see two people in a vehicle, that's typically, that'll be a coach officer and a recruit that's being trained. We don't double up cars except for that reason, unless there's something going on where we need multiple officers, like a special event or something like that. Or it could be an officer and an auxiliary member as well. That's typically the only time that we have cars doubled up. In answer to that.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Utley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make a comment. There was an incident at the skateboard park recently, and I just want to commend our police services for the quick reaction to that incident, and I really appreciate the follow-up on that. So just well done, well done. Thank you.
And Carrie?
Yes. I just want to make a comment here and want to see if anyone else is aware, but I often see cabs dropping people with all their belongings at the side of our restaurant there on Queen Street. The cabs will pull up, empty the full trunk of their belongings and dump the person there. Now, I got a message from a friend yesterday, and this is a post on Facebook, and of course you can always take with a grain of salt, but this is what's going around on Facebook. Coming from a good source, a busload of homeless people from Sault Ste. Marie were dropped off in front of the Tim Hortons downtown. When asked why Brantford, one of the unexpected guests replied, "Brantford has meth clinics, they feed us, and we are treated better." I already heard of the Hamilton bus, so I'm wondering how many more cities are sending their problems to Brantford. So I want to know, first of all, maybe if we can contact the cab companies to see if they're choosing our location to drop people off at. And if so, maybe they could choose a clinic or some sort of rehab place as somewhere to drop someone off instead. And what's the story with buses? I don't know, you know, like I say, everything on Facebook's taken with a grain of salt, but I don't know. I want to know if anyone else has comments on that and has seen anything like that, because like I say, I know I've seen a few cabs drop them at the side of the restaurant with all of their belongings. I don't know what we can do.
Okay, I have Lizanna, then Anne Marie.
I have a comment, Carrie. There were some people from Kitchener bringing water for some of the people that apparently they dropped off. And this also was someone that actually saw it, and it was a good source. And they said, well, Brantford really does help people, and it obviously helped Kitchener. So I have heard the same thing, and it was a reliable person that saw this.
Okay. Anne Marie, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you again. I can assure you that these people are being dropped off from other communities. A family member of mine runs one of the groups in town for addiction, and they are seeing a whole lot of new faces there, and every single one of them are from out of town. The social services department in those cities are giving them bus tickets and cab fare to come to Brantford.
One way.
One way, yes. And it's because of our meth clinics.
Right.
Chief Davis.
Anne Marie, would you be willing to give us that person's name? Because we've been trying to pin this down, and Councillor Wall and Councillor Utley can jump into this conversation anytime they want. I witnessed it firsthand when Hamilton cleared out their homeless encampment in 2020. The very next day, I was walking in Eagle Place on the beat, and I watched 3 cabs pull into 5 Marlene and dump people off. Oh, we heard it's a homeless shelter, is what the people getting out said. And the poor girl working, who's a Laurier student, was overwhelmed. And so I've witnessed it firsthand. Yet when this becomes a discussion at the political level, there seems to be two camps, that they're coming here from outside of Brantford, or no, they're 25 Brantford residents that want to live rough. So if you have a relative that's in the social industry here in the city, would you be willing to have them contact us so we can hear it from an actual service provider rather than rumor and Facebook?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll discuss it with them and see. Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
The other point I want to make here is with respect to the bus loads. There's no evidence to suggest bus loads, but I'll let you know, I own property in Norfolk County and I'm very in tune with the politics there and the policing situation there. The detachment commander and many of the officers are personal friends. This is an urban legend, I would suggest, on the bus loads thing, because Simcoe blames Brantford for dropping off van loads and bus loads, and there's nothing to support it. Are there individual cabs? 100%. I've seen it, you're seeing it, but the bus loads, I think that's an urban legend that's not substantiated. And like I said, so we can accuse Kitchener and Hamilton or whomever, but Norfolk County is accusing us of the same. So there's nothing to validate that. The third point I want to make is this is the bane of my existence. I am downtown every day of the week, on duty and off duty, and nothing irks me more than seeing these groups that are well-intentioned but don't realize the harm they're doing showing up. And I've witnessed it. You know, we went to the effort to clean out Victoria Park, and you'll still see it where the van will pull up on the sidewalk, offer out the prepackaged bag of food, clothes, and water, and then you'll watch the people walk away throwing out the stuff that they're not going to keep. And so Councillor Utley and Councillor Wall, if there's any way we can get somebody to coordinate those non-city owned services to do this somewhere else, because this is, I've witnessed it. I witness it regularly where people with good intentions are showing up and they're handing out grilled cheese sandwiches, they're handing out soup, they're handing out water, they're handing out clothes. And it just, all the efforts we do to clean things up are instantaneously gone, because people are drawn back to the downtown core, to typically around one of the corners of Victoria Park still, where then the debris, the garbage and everything else is just left. So sorry to jump in, this is actually Sergeant Grantham's session, but these are three things that I'm pretty in tune with. So that's all I have to say.
We appreciate everything you have to say. Kathy, did you have a comment? Did I see your hand up? No. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Beth. I'm sorry, Beth. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I can be indulged, because I know I'm just a liaison at committee, but I do recall at a meeting some time ago, Aaron Wallace giving an update that I thought social services was trying to redirect folks. If they didn't truly have roots in the community, then let's get them back to where they truly belong for the supports that they need. And I wondered if maybe we can get an update from social services on whether or not that kind of work is still happening. And to echo Chief Davis's concern, I hear the same thing from our recruiters. Carnegie Building is our flagship building. It's our welcome center. It's the start and stop point of every welcome tour we have for prospective students and their families. And the city has made significant investment into post-secondary in the community. And again, you know, I know we walk a fine line because bottom line, I want everyone in this community to be healthy and happy and live to their fullest potential. That's what I want, full stop. But at the end of the day, we're working against ourselves when the positives and the deep investments we've made to improve things are undermined repeatedly. Like sometimes there are scuffles when those vans pull up to give things out because people have a disagreement over who got what or something. Again, I want folks to have support and I want them to have the services they need, but location and all of those other things need to be a little more strategic. And I think people's good intentions can be executed in a more strategic fashion that serves the people in need, but also serves the other interests in the core, like business and education.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Councillor Utley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think this is something we can table at, Councillor Wall and I can table at the task force meeting tomorrow. This has so many impacts on so many of our services and the image of our downtown as well. So for other communities to do this knowingly, under the table, but knowingly is it's just beyond me. And it's not right, it's not fair to take on other communities' issues. We've got enough problems of our own. without adding to it. With that, Madam Chair, I have to leave. I apologize. I have another meeting I need to be involved in. So thank you all for your input. This has been very helpful, these topics this morning. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Councillor Early. All right. Chief Davis.
I just wanted to clarify. So when I said I've witnessed, I saw the 3 cabs in 2020 when Hamilton tore down their homeless encampment. Just to be clear, there was no indication that the city of Hamilton or any officials from the city of Hamilton sent those people. What the information I gathered was people felt sorry for the homeless. Here's $30 for them to get to wherever they want to go. So it was individuals. In no way do I want that construed that the city or any city officials in Hamilton were doing that. And that's what I'm seeing. When I see individual situations, it's someone felt sorry for the homeless person. Where do you want to go? Brantford. I hear it's great there. So I just want to get that. It's not being driven by city officials in these other centers.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. Is that the end of your report, Sergeant Grantham?
Yes, I think everything's been covered off. Unless anyone has questions, or feel free to email me as well, as always.
That's great. Thank you. We really appreciate your input in these meetings. All right, we'll move on to May Legg.
Thank you, Barb. The Ontario Business Improvement Association has relaunched the Digital Main Street program, which we were very happy about. It's Digital Main Street 3.0, and the BRC has been awarded a $15,000 grant for a digital service squad. So we're working on putting that together. Hope to have it launched in August. We're going to run this along with the Digital Transformation Grant, which is also relaunched, and that is specifically for small businesses who have brick and mortar locations, and they can use that $2,500 to improve the digital technologies, not for hardware per se, but for hiring people to set up a website, e-commerce site, or social media. And what we're going to use our digital service squad for is to actually help people apply for the transformation grant, because there have been problems around that. The grant has been extended to businesses just outside of the BIA now as well. So we're looking forward to working with businesses and feet on the ground. We're going to be very happy to actually be out there and go into businesses this time, because we weren't able to do that the last last couple sessions. So we're looking forward to doing that. Our summer company program, like I mentioned before, we have 10 fantastic students. If you look in Be Seen for July, page 12 and 13, it introduces all of our students. Take a look. They're fabulous write-up on each of them. And if you want something done or looking at some unique product, just take a look, because they need your help and they are up and comers in our community. We're not offering any workshops for the month of August, but they will resume in September. And we'll be moving to the new City Hall. Be happy to be back downtown September 7th and 8th. We're moving in. And we'll be back once again, feet on the ground in downtown Brantford. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. So are we, May. That's great. Thank you. Any questions of May, just while we're here? No. All right. Jennifer, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Excited to say that summer programming in Harmony Square has been amazing. We have programs running Monday to Friday. We just introduced new programs on Wednesdays in August, Crayola and Mad Science, and they've been a big hit. There's been no issues whatsoever. We've got our registration process down pat. We have security on site for almost every event, which has been really helpful. We haven't had any major issues, but it's been really nice if there's been anybody with an encampment at 6 o'clock in the morning to have them move out by security. So that's been very helpful. The roller skating, which was new this year, has been a huge hit. There's been lots of positive feedback on the roller skating. And Music in the Square started last week. And it was so nice to be at a major event again. And I mean, there was 50 people there for the first session, 50 people there for the second session, and 75 the second week, but it felt good to be back in the groove of things. Scare in the Square is happening very soon, October 1st and 2nd. We just received word that we got a grant that we applied for in April. However, the grant was for Glenhurst because at the time we wrote the grant, we were in lockdown. So we planned an event as if we were in lockdown. So Scare in the Square will be all over the place this year. It'll be at Mohawk, Glenhurst, and Harmony. And we're just waiting for approval from EOC on all of our ideas to see what we can move forward on. Because of that grant, we also applied for 3 additional events. So 3 more events will happen in September that weren't originally planned for. We're planning the mayor's barbecue for a week right now, which will be the first week of September. The construction for the flag, sorry if I'm taking over your report, Councillor Wall, will happen shortly. I have a meeting on Friday just to make sure it doesn't impede any of our programming that's happening. There's also going to be some construction happening on 150 Colburn. So to the right, closest to Colburn, above the Bell Stage and above Hudson's Public. I'm just working on when that construction will happen. It should take about 3 weeks. Basically, the ceilings on the patios need to be decoed again. So that work will take about 3 weeks to do. Once I have the date confirmed, I'll let everybody know. But other than that, things are starting to move along nicely. So fingers crossed we don't go into another lockdown and we can continue our programming because it's really bringing some life back into the downtown.
That's great, Jennifer. Thank you so much. We're all excited that you're back downtown as well. All right, Beth Gurney, and I'm going to start off by congratulations on your new position, Beth. Go ahead.
Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, it's probably just a new title that reflects what I've been doing most of the time anyway, but I now report directly to Heidi Northwood, which is great because it'll allow me to focus more of my attention on Brantford. So I know everyone's eager to know about the fall and numbers, and it is challenging for us to get our arms around whether students will be virtual or living in the city because the fall term has still a good amount of virtual programming. What I can share is that we've had an across the board increase at Laurier and first year confirmations, and that includes the Brantford campus. So we expect to see approximately 3,000 students coming in the fall. September is always a bit of a flux period because students can add or drop without penalty, and the province actually calculates the true numbers in November once all the dust has settled on that activity. What I can say is that of those students registered at the Brantford campus, 27% of the classes will, or pardon me, 27% of the classes in Brantford will have some in-person component. So I think the good news is students are taking multiple classes each semester. So even if only one is on campus, it's still a magnet for them to then move here because they have that commitment. The winter term, we expect to be fully back to normal. In-person classes will be in person if they were before the pandemic. And our international college, Wilfrid Laurier International College, is launching in the fall term virtually. And again, winter will be 100% in person for that program as well, as we expect that travel restrictions will have lightened by then. We have some welcome back signage planned for the Carnegie Building and for Dalhousie Street. Welcome back Golden Hawks and welcome home. And we're really excited to have that signage. I think it will add to the atmosphere of downtown. We have also got some Laurier Brantford YMCA banners and lights similar to the maple leaf lights that we already have in some areas downtown. And Annette, as well as Maria Visaki from the city, were really helpful in getting that coordinated, and sheer display indicates that they should be up no later than the end of August. So again, will enhance that sort of atmosphere in the core. Next week, we have a film shoot, The Whispering, on campus. I know economic development in the city is eager to support film locations in Brantford, and this will be our first time we've allowed interior access for a film shoot since the pandemic started. And the mural at the tail end of One Market, which you may recall was done a few years back with an inter-community Indigenous and non-Indigenous youth initiative. The youth on Six Nations, there's a sister mural on Six Nations. The youth there have taken it upon themselves to restore the mural on the Youth and Elder Center, and the muralists are actually going to be in Brantford this weekend to do some improvements on the One Market one as well, and some restoration work. And then I'll just close by saying we have a job posting. I'm going to pop it into the chat in case anyone knows someone who might be interested. It closes tomorrow, so it's not a lot of notice, but it's a new position, a 9-month pilot contract for a campus experience coordinator. So as an integrated urban campus, we have unique challenges, but we also have unique opportunities. And we haven't had anyone who's been able to be truly tactical in terms of identifying those opportunities and challenges and executing. And because of the way we exist, the minute you step outside of our building, you're on city property. It's a complex environment. And what that means is things that are up to us or up to the city or up to other people, there are cracks that things can fall through. So basically what we want to do is make downtown the best possible experience for our students, which will also make it better for Conestoga students, which will make it better for merchants and everyone else in the community. So it's sort of an innovative approach to community relations and community development. So as I say, take a look at the link, and if there's anyone you know who might be interested, hopefully they have the ability to dust off a resume in 24 hours. So that's my update, and happy to answer questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth. That's great. Any questions, Beth? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Goggin, are you still with us?
Hi, yes, I am. Hi.
Hi, I don't know if you had anything more to add today.
No, I've already said a lot, so I'll keep it short. Just wanted to mention that as Lizana had said, we've been doing some canvassing to the businesses separately, because Annette and I had a conversation trying to workshop, how do we get businesses to give us more feedback? Because I feel like in the pandemic world, we haven't really been able to have anything in person, and it's been a little bit difficult. So we just had that strategy to go door to door and, talk to businesses, make sure they were aware of the project for the downtown revitalization, what all is going on. And I am working with our communications team as well still to figure out if there are other ways we can get more people involved. So look out for that, and I'll definitely be communicating all of that with Annette. I'll be sending you the survey as well, Annette, for you to send out a mass email to get some of that feedback from the other businesses who didn't give us the postcards. But we did get a lot of feedback actually from the postcards already, which was great. The businesses were very, very interested in the project and very willing to give their feedback to us. So that was really great to see. And that's pretty much where we're at with the downtown study. Before we head into the next public information center, the third and likely the final one, our team is actually just figuring out right now what the deal is with the underground infrastructure so that we can come up with a plan. And I can't remember who it was. I think it may have been Lizana when you were talking about the crosswalk at Bain. So those types of details will be in the next PIC, where we figure out what the corridors and each of the streets will actually look like, and we'll look at pedestrian crossing areas and what side parking will be on, the overall look and feel of downtown and how everything will work together, how the side streets will connect with the main streets. So that'll be in the next PIC. I'll share details with you all likely in the next couple of weeks when we have a date for that. And that's where we're at with the downtown. And then with the 3 Grand River Crossings environmental assessment, that one is still moving along. And I think at the last June meeting, I may have given the update that we got the idea approved to reopen Brant's Crossing, the bridge that goes right into the downtown that's been closed since 2018. So we are working on that right now, and we are very likely going to get the bridge reopened for public use in the next couple of months. So probably by November at the latest, we should have that bridge reopened. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you, Goggin. All right. Karen, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to give an update of our Brantford campus for this upcoming fall. Students at this point, same as with Beth, are either in the registered or pre-registered status. So we truly don't know the exact numbers, but I can tell you over 1,500 students have designated to want to come to the Brantford campus for their programming. That does include activity that happens at the airport. Of those over 1,500 students, over 1,000 of them are brand new students to the Brantford community, and then 500 plus returning. Many of the programs are still being delivered totally online, so they potentially could be living anywhere. However, The programs like PSW, IELTS that we offer, any of the trades, ECE, are delivered in a hybrid delivery for fall, which means some of their curriculum will be delivered face-to-face where it's appropriate, and the rest will be online. So the plan for Conestoga is to have a gradual return to in-person services on each of our campuses. And obviously that's following the direction of public health, and more face-to-face delivery for winter 2022. But we are pleased with the number of students that have identified Brantford as their preferred campus for their curriculum delivery.
All sounds good, Karen. Thank you. We look forward to those students. All right. Do we have Shaylin Harris with us or no? I don't think so.
No, but she did send me an
Oh,
update.
that's right. I'm sorry. And go ahead.
Unfortunately, she couldn't attend, but she did say the Wilfrid Laurier University Students Union is aiming to offer a hybrid in-person, part-time in-person and part online orientation week from September 6th to 11th. Specifically, students will be moving into resident buildings on September 6th. We are excited to be able to again welcome students to the downtown while continuing to follow public health guidelines to prioritize student and community well-being.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Councillor Wall, updates.
Morning, thank you. So I'll be brief. Monday, August 16th is the opening of the new City Hall in downtown Brantford at the old Federal Building. Just for everyone's to know, Project Noisemaker was a resolution that was passed at the last City Council meeting. It was a request to Brantford Police to do a Project Noisemaker in the City of Brantford. It was recommended or requested or asked, or however it's done. And it was supposed to go to the police board. I don't know what's going to come of that, but essentially there has been an increase in complaints about loud vehicles. I will point out for anybody watching, loud motorcycles are a thing for safety, but loud cars, maybe not so much. And if you live downtown or do business downtown, you've heard what Project Noisemaker is trying to combat. The noise bylaw passed. So now we have a 24-hour noise bylaw. Somebody's making noise and you don't like it, you can call bylaw. It is still the standard complaint process, which is basically educate, encourage, enforce. So it's not like you make noise, you get a fine. But if you're making, what was the word? Vexatious noise, you could potentially face repercussions if you're not willing to accommodate and respect your neighbors. It was contentious. You want to know more about it? Talk to Councillor Van Tilburg. The Downtown Community Improvement Plan was passed. It is it's a lot. I'm not going to go into great detail about it, but one of the biggest parts is the tax, incremental tax that people can get if they're willing to take a building in the downtown and convert it into residential, which provides housing. Yeah, if you want to know more about it, I would recommend you talk to the experts at City Hall. The Downtown Task Force, of course, we already talked about it, but it's great that it's tomorrow. And I honestly can't wait to see what we can pull off. And then if you'll allow me, events are back downtown. It's amazing. Last Friday, I was on stage in Harmony Square, nearly 100 people in the square with real people listening to real music. And it was electric. Like people were walking by and stopping in the street as if they had never heard music before and just being drawn into the square and meeting and greeting and loving and laughing and having fun. Like, if you want to have your soul reinvigorated, please join us on Friday in Harmony Square and see real people and music and events. And Jen, you and your team, to everybody who has helped orchestrate that, it is incredible. And I am so excited. Harmony Square is just alive again. And it was so good to see. And I can't wait for music in the park and movies to come back, and just events are back. We're almost through this. All right, that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Wall. I admire your vision. All right. Carrie, did you have a question?
Yes, I was just wondering if we can get an update on when the fence is coming down around Victoria Park.
I'm going to leave that one with staff, unfortunately.
So through the chair, it's intended to be reassessed in September, but likely is targeted to come down in September.
Can it not come down before the students arrive? I think it's a shame to have it all fenced up when we're welcoming our students.
That is the direction from council, but we can definitely take it back for reconsideration.
I don't know, I assume the security will still be there, so I see no need for a fence. It just looks terrible. People don't know why it's there. The park is supposed to be for the students. So I don't know, it just looks horrible. If we can request to get it down before September, I think that would be good for everyone.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. All right. City staff,
Can we get an update when you find out and talk to staff? Can we get an update on that? Because our next meeting won't be until after the students get back.
I can circle back with the chair and just have something sent out as soon as we have any further information.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Carrie, I can't speak to the item because I had to declare a conflict at council, so I can't participate in any discussion regarding this item. I'm not trying to avoid the subject. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, fair enough. All right, thank you. City staff updates. Are there any updates from city staff? Annette, where were we going with this one? Or is it just reports?
It was just in case a city staffer ended up attending the meeting for some item or wanted to give us an update on something, and I didn't know ahead of time. So it's a line item now for anybody that is attending.
All right, so that would be any city staff. Steve is with us, Mark and Tom. Any comments, any updates? Hi, Mark.
Good morning. No, I actually don't have any updates for you at this point.
Okay, all right. Thank you. We don't have James from the library. Jamie.
Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for letting me join. I just wanted to do an update. So the Downtown Central Neighborhood Association held our final kickoff event for the year back in June. We are part of the Participation event. We received a grant for that. We held daily active challenges on social media every day for the month of June. Part of our daily challenge every Friday in June is we partnered with Woodview in the Square and held a live Zoom class that was also showcased on our Facebook Live as well, that was geared towards physical activity. This included a boot camp, Zumba, Taekwondo, and Pilates. We also were fortunate enough to have a Laurier student be a part of our placement, and it went so well they've actually continued on and joined our association, which has been amazing. So overall, throughout the month of June, we had 128 community members attend, and we logged an overall total of 24,291 active minutes within our downtown community. As part of it, we gave away a ton of prizes throughout the month, and then always we want to support our local downtown businesses. So we purchased a total of 14 downtown Brantford merchant gift cards. 13 were given out weekly to our winners. And then we had 4 overall grand prizes. So we purchased a 1-year membership to support the YMCA downtown that was given to our most active participant. We also rewarded a $150 Luciani's pizza party to support a local business that was given to the most active family. We also gave out a $100 Oak Hill Market gift card, which was in support as well of local kind of home businesses, the crafters, things like that. And then we also gave a 4th prize out because of our overwhelming support, which was another $25 downtown merchant gift card. So I just wanted to say on behalf of the DCNA, as always, we want to thank all of you for your continued support, as well as just letting us come here and be able to share this wonderful activities that we are putting on and your support in the community overall. We did take the summer off this year. We felt that with COVID and everything that was going on and opening up, we wanted everyone to enjoy their summer. And we will be picking up again in September and offering many more events, hopefully in person, with our first one being our Halloween kickoff, which in the past has held about 500 attendees. If there's any questions, otherwise, thank you for letting me give you this update.
Thank you for that, Jamie. That's great. All right, the 7:12 external committee updates. I don't know if we have any committee updates. Put your hand up if you do. No. Okay, it's been a different year. All right, 7:13. Open discussion. Any more comments, Dwight?
I'd just like to bring up, I'd like to find out from the city here what their parking strategy is going to be here now that we're starting to open up and everything else. Obviously, the council has instructed the real estate department to seek a lease for the old city hall parking over on 1 Wellington Square and the rest of it. But that leaves everything open as far as what the city's going to do with their staff downtown. There's only 30 parking spaces in the federal building underground. The lots are going to be fully occupied by the looks of things, and that's going to leave the streets. It's going to be pretty messy. That's for sure. So I'd like to hear from staff, whether it's Thomas Lewinsky, perhaps with stuff here, what the strategy is going to be. Like I said before, I believe that the streets are for to move the traffic along. 1 hour is plenty for everything. Plus, ability to help out our businesses with skip the dishes pickups and different things like that. So I really would like to know what their strategy is going to be with stuff. We really need probably another parking garage, but that's been deferred, and that's a capital works project, and that's going to cost a lot of money. And at the end of the day here, we need to look at this in a positive way that helps out everybody. I know the students, they're going to be looking for parking too, whether it's Lori does take that lease on the old city parking on 1 Wellington, but it's something we need to be know what's going on. I guess that's what I'm saying. Parking strategy. Yeah, like an update.
All right, Tom, would you like to answer that? Go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Thanks, Dwight, and through the chair. So yes, the new city hall will be reopened soon, and our plan for that is most of the staff will be parking at the parkade and using the Arch Stand Bridge to walk to and from the parkade to City Hall. Lot 3 remains as a pay lot for anyone that chooses to use it. There will be a few vehicles, city vehicles, that are required to go in and out of the City Hall on frequent basis. With respect to parking enforcement, so all the bylaws have been reinstated, and parking enforcement is back to full force. Further to visits to City Hall, the city has done a lot of work improving the city's digital channels, allowing any type of reporting to be done online from the comfort of their home. So we're really trying to minimize the number of trips to City Hall, and at this time, that is the plan.
So, Annette?
I was just curious if there was going to be a time change. I know that around the federal building, it's mostly 30-minute. Will that remain 30 minutes?
At this time, there's no plans to changing it. However, we will be monitoring it closely, and if there are any changes, if staff will notice that any changes that that might be required, we'll present that to council. Absolutely.
Dwight, go ahead.
Yes, through the chair to Tom, the no repark procedures back in place here makes it awful difficult for Skip the Dishes and Uber or DoorDash and people that require to come in and out of downtown multiple times and make pickups. And I'm just wondering with that, I know the no repark was put there for a reason there, that people wouldn't just keep moving their cars and the rest of the stuff here. But I think it's imperative that we try to help without penalizing people. Maybe those, like I said before, short-term pickup zones. I think we need to look at that for sure somewhere along the line. I'm not going to call it a loading zone because that initially was what we set that up for the rest of us here. But I don't know, at the end of the day here, we're going to have to really look at that. That's why I say parking strategy is something we need to be on top of. I wouldn't mind being part of that initiative again here. I remember before we tried to put something in place and it kind of all fell apart. But I think at the present time, as we move forward, having gone through the pandemic and having survived and worked, and now we'll see how much parking we're going to have, how many people are working from home, just what is needed here to facilitate everybody. So
through the chair, yes, the repark bylaw has been reinstated as of June 1st. And I should just mention that it only applies to 2 and 3 hour zones. So for the purpose of short trips, like the skip the dishes drivers or quick pickups, though that bylaw does not apply to those parking areas. One more thing, I know the numbers are slowly going up, but the number of vehicles within the downtown core is still pretty low. And I checked this morning, we've issued 0 repark tickets in June and in July of this year.
Okay, thank you. Lizanna?
So if they change it to the 1 hour parking, then we wouldn't have to worry about the reparking. The other thing that I wondered, if the city employees, would they be riding their bikes down to work?
The city is a strong supporter of active transportation, and I would hope so.
That would save a lot of parking if they all rode their bikes down.
Thanks, Lizanna. Dwight, go ahead.
That's Liz Coster there. The 1 hour isn't going to, these people, they'll get out and move their car after an hour, and that's a problem. That's why we had to implement this no repark in the first place. And Tom's aware of that with stuff. I don't know how you change people's behavior, but and yes, people will. They'll absolutely. Some of them will park on the street and just keep moving their car all over the place. This has gone on ever since the expositor was in business, and people, it's an ongoing problem with things. But at the same token, I think an hour is more feasible for short-term parking to move things along and the rest of it, and then we just try to sort out the problem cases and the rest of it. But these short-term pickup zones, I think are really, really necessary in light of what has gone on and how businesses had to survive with this pandemic. So anyhow, that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you, Dwight. All right. If there's no further conversation, I think we come to the adjournment of the meeting. I just have one thing to say. I appreciate the fact that our community liaison groups attend, city staff, our police, counselors. Thank you everyone for coming to our meetings. I know that it's early morning for you, but we can't run the downtown without any one of you and your input. And we certainly appreciate your being here and allowing us to have these casual conversations with you about, that things that are, coming up in our everyday in the downtown. And given that, and given the task force as well, I'm looking forward to great things happening in the downtown. But my message here is thank you for coming to our meetings. We very much appreciate your time. Thank you. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Dwight, and seconded by Kathy, all in favor? Everyone's in favor. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and thank you.